My name is Abigail with Abigail Dean Web Designs. I help small businesses evolve their online presence so that they can expand their mission, healing the community and healing the planet.
I won't be defined by your dreams, committed to my goals, yeah. Gotta do my own thing, keep up the hustling. I won't be defined by your dreams, committed to my goals, yeah. Gotta do my own thing.
Hi, welcome to Hustleburg. Thank you for sharing your time with us as we chat with entrepreneurs here in St. Petersburg, Florida. We talk about how they got started, how they built their business, and how they serve our community. I'm Brett Bittner, and I'm the host of Hustleburg, and I started Beyond Your Side Hustle because I found that most entrepreneurs lack the time and expertise to build their own digital marketing strategy and still get results. As an entrepreneur here in St. Pete myself, I love meeting and talking with fellow small business owners about what they do and sharing that conversation with you. Now, you may have noticed a few changes with the podcast lately. One of the biggest is that we're now doing video. So if you're only listening to this episode, whether it's on your favorite podcast player, radiostpete.com, or Sunshine 96.7 FM, please know that this episode and all future episodes are available for you to view on YouTube and beyondyoursidehustle.com. Just visit beyondyoursidehustle.com/YouTube to subscribe or to watch your favorite episode of Hustleberg. If you find anything of value in this episode, I encourage you to subscribe. And if you would, also rate and review the episode as well, because it sends us the right signals to know how the conversations add value for you. Finally, if you're interested in being a guest in an upcoming episode and you own a small business here in St. Pete, let us know by visiting beyondyoursidehustle.com/podcast guest. So, Abigail, why are you helping people grow their business and impress their clients with web design?
So I have noticed there are a lot of websites that look like they're from the early 2000s.
Sure.
And I am actually originally educated in wildlife biology. So I am a biologist, a scientist, and I noticed that there were a lot of organizations who had very credible information and data, but their website looked untrustworthy because it looked so old. And as
Okay.
a younger millennial, I don't trust sites that don't look modern. So I know that there are a lot of organizations out there doing really good work, and I've wanted to help connect them with the people that they're trying to reach. But maybe they're kind of blocking themselves a little bit by not having like a proper website with easy navigation. So that's been my whole mission, is just to help people have a better online presence so they can get back to doing the work that they love and reach more people.
Now, what does a better online presence mean to you? You talked a little bit about easy navigation. What are some of the other things that you're looking for in a quality website that you can impart to those who are watching or listening that are a part of the Hustleberg community, so they know if their website is up to snuff when it comes to Abigail Dean's discerning taste?
Yes. So people have really short attention spans today. And I think we all
Mhm.
are kind of understanding that now. But if a website doesn't have a really clear call to action, if it doesn't load really quickly, and if it's not easy to navigate, people will leave in 3 seconds, maybe even less. They don't have a long time to like catch their audience. And so the best websites load really quickly, and then they immediately have a really clear call to action, which is basically just your first ask. You want to give your customers a little bit of information about what you are doing, and then have a really clear button or link or something for them to fill out right away so that they have the information they need to make a decision, and then they can start taking action right away before they even start scrolling.
Now, obviously, not everybody agrees on what the best web design is. What makes you different from other web designers that are operating in the B2B space?
Hmm. I am a web designer who cares about your mission. So I
Okay.
love working with companies that I am also very aligned with. right now, one of my main focuses is to work with local yoga studios to help them get more yogis into their classes. So when I'm working on a website like that, I'm really focused on, if a yogi is finding you maybe through Google, they've Googled a studio, and they come to your website, how are they flowing through your information? Is it easy for them? Is this speaking to them? And how are they getting to one of your classes from your website?
Now, what was it that inspired you to launch a web design company, and what has starting up been like for you?
I am a bit of a perfectionist, so when I get inspired and start a project, sometimes I will get far too deep into it. So originally I had just wanted to start a blog. I wanted to write about zero waste lifestyle, environmental problems. So instead of going an easy route, I ended up learning WordPress, learning how to design a whole website, learning a bit of code, and I built a whole blog for myself. And then I realized I loved designing it way more than I actually liked writing for the blog. So I started reaching out to some small business owners that I knew in my personal network just to help them, because again, like I've already touched on, I've seen people who are awesome, they have these awesome businesses, but their website doesn't reflect that. So I just started helping some people that I knew spice up and modernize their websites. And and then the pandemic happened, so everything was closed. I was at a transition stage in my life, so
Okay.
I was looking for another job, but everything was closed. So I asked myself, what can I do for my computer? I'd been designing websites, so I started to reach out, try to find some clients. And I think the hardest thing with that was that I started during the pandemic, when it was harder to meet people, meet business owners. There
Mhm.
was just a lot of stress in the world. So that was a really hard time to be making such a big transition and starting something new. But since I've been here in St. Pete and being able to network with people in person, that's been a lot more fun, and made some good connections here.
Now, you mentioned that you like to work a lot in the health and wellness space, and you specifically kind of called out yoga studios and yogis. Who is the ideal customer that you like to serve?
Mm. Right now, I definitely am focusing on yoga instructors and yoga studios that either they're just starting out and they need a fresh website to send their clients to, or to get up on Google so people can find them, or studios who haven't updated their website in a few years, just to
Okay.
really help them connect with their yogis.
Now, is there any other space that you are looking to work in, or are you really just strictly focused there on health and wellness?
I'm also transitioning a little bit to focus on alternative energy companies. So
Okay.
my ideal client with that right now is a solar startup,
Got it.
helping them get a website that's going to drive more leads and then convert those leads into people who actually want to put some solar panels on their houses.
So, when you've been building your web design business, what resources did you have at your disposal? Are there any books or podcasts or courses that have helped you succeed?
So first I started working with a business coach who used to do
Okay.
web design. She's definitely helped me a lot. I also definitely recommend anyone who's interested in starting out web design, Josh Hall. He's a really cool web designer. He has
Okay.
incredible web design courses, incredible resources. He also has a podcast. And then YouTube. Just I've watched hours and hours and hours of YouTube. And then there are also just a few bloggers I follow, um, that I've met in online Facebook web design communities, who
Okay.
just are really good at sharing the latest web design trends and tools.
Now, taking a look at some of the work that's in your portfolio, what's the most interesting website that you've designed or worked on?
Hmm, the most interesting. I feel like the most interesting one that is up there is Mackay with Alex Fisher. I really loved that. That's a blog for a marine biologist. So it was like the exact project I really wanted to do, helping her bring that vision of sharing conservation and social justice to life. I loved it.
Awesome. Now, what is one thing that you would like every member of the Hustleberg community to know about websites and designing for the web?
This is a really good question. And I want to save people time, money, and stress and sanity because I almost every single client that I've had has tried to hire someone from like Fiverr or Upwork first, because
Sure.
not to like completely dismiss those platforms, because there are really talented people working on them. Um, but there are some red flags to look for. And so I've just had a lot of clients come to me who really tried to save a lot of money by hiring someone that was a really underpriced web designer. And they kind of start on it, and whether there were like communication problems or the designer just completely disappeared. I've had clients who just spent so much time trying to go this route, and then it didn't work out, so they bring me what they do have and I kind of have to sift through that. Or kind of in the same boat, I know that a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs today, we try to wear all of the different hats, we try to do all of the
Sure.
different things. And
Right.
for some people design is their thing and they are techie, and so if you want to design your own website, that's beautiful and I'm so proud of you. But I've also had a lot of clients come to me who spent a lot of time trying to design a website themselves, and they're not happy with the final product, and they could have been a lot more happy if they hired someone to do it instead of kind of like chasing it around, because it's very tedious. It does take a lot of time. It looks like it should be easier, but it does
Right.
take a lot of time.
Now, what would you say is the most important lesson that you've learned thus far with Abigail Dean Web Designs? Now, I'm not talking about just your everyday lesson. I look at what other people describe as failures as lessons. So, what's something that you've taken away that you didn't know before you started your business that you kind of learned the hard way?
Hmm. I think the first thing that comes to mind is to keep showing up
Okay.
no matter what. Not everyone is going to like your designs, because design can be like very subjective. And
Sure.
um, so believing in my own designs and being willing to show up even if I get negative feedback or that kind of thing, just being willing to show up, own my mistakes, and keep moving forward.
So, how are you building your brand to make people aware of what you offer the business community here in St. Pete and outside of Pinellas County?
Hmm. Actually, a lot of it hasn't been online marketing. I wish I could
Okay.
say that it was, because I think that makes a lot more sense. But when I first started web design, everyone, like, I was asking people, how did you get clients? How do you get clients? And everyone kept telling me word of mouth. And I felt like that
Yeah.
was really frustrating. So I was like, well, I don't know a lot of people yet, but that's what I've been doing now. Basically, referrals from other clients. I'm part of a few in-person networking groups here in St. Pete now. So really just getting out there and meeting as many people as I can, connecting with people. That's what has been working for me right now. I definitely do see myself investing in like automating more of my like actually getting into online marketing, running some ads, doing that kind of thing. Oh, and I started to get into like SEO more as well.
Okay.
So that's search engine optimization, for anyone that doesn't know, how you get found on Google. And today I got a call from someone that found me on Google. So that's kind of
It
like
seems like
free
it's
marketing.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in your wildest dreams, where is it that you want to take the web design company that you're building, and what are you doing to get there?
Hmm. In my wildest dreams, this becomes more of an agency, still very focused on people who are serving the community and helping heal the planet. And what I'm doing about that right now is kind of doing a rebrand. So instead of Abigail Dean Designs, it will be Dunwoody Creative, and eventually hiring some other designers to work with me. So having like a whole team so that we can take on bigger projects and serve more people.
Now, how much would you say that you're working in the day-to-day of the business versus working on the business to help you develop and grow toward the goal of having that agency that's focused on design?
This is also a really good question, and one I've been thinking about a lot lately because it's been kind of hard starting this thing all by myself. And
Right.
I've heard a lot of designers talk about feast or famine, and I've definitely experienced that where I will have weeks where all I'm doing is designing. So all I'm doing is working for the business, right? Like I'm just finishing these design projects, working for clients, and then I will wrap up all of these projects. And that's when I finally have time to work on my business again. So
Right.
it's kind of been this huge fluctuation, which has been really difficult, but I'm starting to take a few, or maybe even just an hour every single day to work on automating some systems so that I'll continuously have leads come in, automating that kind of thing. So I'm starting to build the Instagram for Dunwoody Creative as we're rebranding, starting to build an email list. So trying to set aside more time for that day to day so it doesn't have to be this huge fluctuation all the time.
Now, you mentioned moving to St. Pete. Where was it that you moved to St. Pete from?
This could be a long story. I
That's
kind of
okay.
was
We
all
got
over
time.
the place. So when the pandemic started, when I started doing web designs, I was living in Hawaii. I had an internship with the marine animal rescue team out there. Pandemic hit. I had to come back to the mainland. That's when I started doing web design. And originally I thought I would just move to California, but everything was very shut down. So I bought a car and I just drove around the US for a while working from my laptop. And the goal was to land in San Diego, but I ended up falling in love with St. Pete and ended up all the way over here.
That happens for a lot of people. Now, when you aren't working, what are some of your favorite things to do in and around town?
I moved to St. Pete because it's so beautiful here. I love being outside. I'm also a yoga teacher. So in my spare time, I do a lot of yoga. I teach a lot of yoga. I love doing yoga at the parks. I did love doing yoga at the beach, but with red tide, it's been not as fun lately. And I also do some modeling. So I do that around, and I love to read books. So I'm also reading a lot.
Now, are there any favorites that you have when it comes to local businesses, places that you just absolutely have to give a shout out because they are that amazing, that are local, that you like to patron?
Yes. So two come to mind immediately. The first one, because I just said that I love reading books, and I tried to stop ordering books from Amazon. It can be so convenient to order books from Amazon, but the feeling of going into a local bookstore like Tombolo Books, I love them. They're so happy. They have great books all of the time. And right next to them is Black Crow Coffee Shop. So I spend a lot of time at either Black Crow Coffee Shop location. I think they're lovely. I try to support local coffee shops like that. They have great coffee, great matcha, and just a beautiful ambiance.
Now, are there any upcoming events, activities, or offerings that you want to make sure the Hustleburg community is aware of and puts on their calendar?
I don't have any scheduled events like that, no timelines right now. But what I am offering, mainly focused on yoga studios, I have some deals going on right now for anyone who needs a website and is starting out or wants to modernize their website. I am doing some templated sites to make them really affordable. So you can find them on abigaildean.org. So basically it's a templated website. The design is already there, but we customize it with your branding, your photos, your information. So you have a beautiful site, and there's a few different offers on that. And then I will also be doing that for some solar startups as well.
Awesome. So it's like you knew the next question that was coming. Where can people find out more about you and what you do and connect with you in the event that they're in the market for a website?
Yeah, all of my work is on abigaildean.org, and you can find my portfolio. You can contact me there. My email is on there. My social medias are on there. So the easiest place is just abigaildean.org.
All right, terrific, Abigail. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with the Hustleburg community today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, you did it. You've just listened to Hustleburg. Hustleburg is produced by Beyond Your Side Hustle, where we help you craft an awesome strategy for your business and build a community that supports you today and in the future. We help budding entrepreneurs go beyond their side hustle and into the business they're dreaming of. If we provided you with something valuable with this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast player, especially you Apple Podcast listeners. This is something that only takes a few seconds that will help us shine the spotlight on all the great businesses St. Pete has to offer and grow our community. Speaking of great businesses here in St. Pete, if you're a small business owner here and you'd like to share the story of your business with the Hustleburg community, please let us know by visiting beyondyoursidehustle.com/podcast guest. Did you know that at Beyond Your Side Hustle, we're helping small business owners reach ideal engagement on any social media platform with a free 3-week training by email? It's available for you at beyondyoursidehustle.com/3 weeks. You can also find a link for it in the show notes. Start right now to learn how you can fix your feed to serve you, start engaging on social the right way, and create a community around you and your business. The opening music in this episode is Defining Your Dreams by my friend Rhymer Educator. I encourage you to check him out on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to great music. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to sharing with you how we do business in the Burg.